Undisputed middleweight champion Claressa Shields, the GOAT, is being asked for a return bout against Savannah Marshall. Marshall is thinking that the second time around will be a charm for her, but Shields is out to show Marshall these colors don't run. On October 15th, 2022, one of the most highly anticipated fights in recent memory took place at the O2 Arena when Claressa Shields took on Savannah Marshall for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Shields prevailed with a unanimous decision over Marshall in a fight that had plenty of action, plenty of ebb and flow, plenty of drama, which was somewhat expected, but far more entertaining than anyone could imagine. Recently, in an article published by Boxing Scene, Marshall's promoter, Ben Shalom, had something to say about a return bout where Marshall feels that she can actually get the decision the second time around. Shields, who's now 13-0 with 2 KOs, welcomes that opportunity, but says the fight will not be in the UK if it takes place. And that's totally understandable because as the A-side and undisputed champion, she gave up a great deal to be able to defend the titles that she brought into that fight against Marshall and prevailed on Marshall's soil. So, in a fight that was 10 years in the making, Shields made the sacrifice, going into the promotion with everything underlying, the statements being made about how Marshall defeated her in the amateurs and so forth, gave her her only loss, yada, yada, yada. Now Shalom feels Marshall will get revenge in the second fight. He says, I think Savannah wants to come in with a new mindset and different mentality and a different game plan. He told Sky Sports she was disappointed with how she performed. She felt like it wasn't herself. Maybe Shields had something to do with that, Mr. Shalom. How about the fact that you all thought that she would be able to come in with her tremendous KO record at the time of 12-0 with 10 KOs, that Shields would be just another victim? But she was not. Shields fought gallantly as a champion, and Marshall didn't expect Shields to perform at that level the way she did. After that fight, she was distraught. Despite everything she achieved and record viewing figures and becoming a superstar in the UK, she was still devastated because all she wanted to do was win that fight. Shalom states, the rematch would not be immediate. Marshall is going to have 1 or 2 more fights before a second meeting with Shields. Interesting. Sounds familiar? We know she wants that, Shalom says. We respect that, but we'll take the rematch at the right time for her. She'll fight in March or April, and we'll look at it. It's the biggest fight in women's boxing. It still is. She's not had as many rounds as Claressa because of her knockout power. I think that does make a difference sometimes. For me, she needs more rounds. I would like her to have a couple of fights before Claressa just to get those rounds and that experience. But she feels she saw enough and knew enough and will go back into the rematch much better prepared. Savannah's grown a lot from that event. She'll now get confidence from that, frustrated from that. It makes for a dangerous fighter. Listen, the whole thing is, Shields is a high caliber championship fighter. There is no amount of preparation that Marshall does not have or needs to acquire that can meet at that level. Sometimes you have to respect what is. You can do your best. You can go back and try to devise a second game plan, if not a third. But the difference in talent, it shows. And Claressa reiterated the fact that you don't necessarily have to be a knockout puncher to be a knockout in boxing. These are the type of things that some of the fighters that come out of the UK who pad their records with numerous KOs but not much experience in how to conduct and handle yourself under fire, under challenge. This is what Shields has met her entire career. She spoke about it during the pre-fight ceremonies, and she spoke about it in the post-fight ceremonies. These attributes should not be easily overlooked. You have to consider the fighter's pedigree. Marshall, big puncher, big woman for the weight class. But if she wants to get more rounds in, they have to stop feeding her the fighters that she's been able to take out. Start fighting some of those high caliber fighters that Claressa has fought early on from when she turned pro, like the Franchon Cruz discerns, These are the type of battles that she's been through. Being able to punch hard doesn't really mean nothing at the end of the day against someone who is a real fighter and who knows how to box and has experience and the ability to think under fire. These are things that Claressa has never had an opportunity to worry or trouble her because her confidence in her own ability reigns supreme. They'd like to call it arrogance, but when you're good at what you do, you have confidence behind those abilities, and other people from the outside looking in can make all the determinations, speculations that they want. But when you've gone through the fire, you can talk about the heat. Yeah, how about that? And Claressa Shields has shown the path to a number of champions in the sport, both men and women, what it's like to carry a championship mantle. This is what I have to say about it. Ben Shalom, you can assist with Marshall, training, getting better opponents, maybe getting more rounds, but you have to understand, even if she faces Claressa for a second time, it's not going to be in her backyard anymore. The champion will be able to make demands, and you would have to accommodate that. Think about that again before you talk about entering the ring against the undisputed champion once again. This is Stormy B-Man. What are your thoughts? Leave comments and let's discuss this. Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall a second time around. These colors do not run. Shout out to the mighty LDDC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know, what do you think will happen in a second time around between Shields and Marshall? Will the GOAT repeat, or will she double down? Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.